So it's been a couple of years ever since Gina Carano got fired by the hands of Kathleen Kennedy, and many of those over at Lucasfilm, by the way, that really found any petty reason to really kind of just get Gina Carano fired before the whole drama was starting on Twitter and what was happening between herself and Kathy Kennedy. It was a long, overblown process that really caused a lot of trouble for the set of The Mandalorian Season 1 and even 2 at that. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future Star Wars updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support, and let's get right into the subject. Now, we know that Gina Carano has been a very controversial subject, specifically because there's a lot of fans that have different views of her, what she put on social media, what she stands for, and the overall character. A lot of fans will say the character is boring, that she adds no value to the story. Other fans absolutely love the character and what kind of symbolism she carries. So the thing about Gina Carano is that we know that for, I would say, throughout the year 2021, like right after she got let go, she was really kind of putting things more out there about what Lucasfilm was really, acting like behind closed doors, and how they were always trying to fire her for any tiny little reason. A lot of creatives were like this. We even know that Freddie Prinze Jr., the actor himself, on Twitter was literally mocking Gina Carano, thinking that it was entirely funny that she got fired, stuff like that. Just very immature stuff straight out of high school. Moving on to the real important stuff here that's more positive, is that with Jon and Dave focused primarily on the future of Star Wars and how it will adapt legend stories, one big remedy that Jon and Dave recently pitched to Disney executives has much to do with actress Gina Carano. The big pitch that Jon and Dave proposed to Disney executives was a full-fledged plan to bring Gina Carano as Cara Dune back into the Mandoverse on the big screen with Dave Filoni's Star Wars movie that they are aiming to release in 2026 or 27 if delays get in the way. The plan is to redesign the character, revamp her story, and to also provide fans a reformed version of Cara Dune re-established within Special Forces. This was a part of Filoni's pitch to Disney in order to properly reinstate Gina as Cara Dune into the Star Wars franchise in a massive way. The majority of the executives already agree that this would be a phenomenal plan to reform the character as fast as possible and to reach as many as possible, while other executives remain on the fence and are pushing for Gina's return to wait it out until the movie is strictly, of course, developed if Jon and Dave's plan goes through, which would diminish their plans to bring Gina back to multiple TV shows. So, again, some of the executives view it like this. If they're going to bring her into this movie, they don't necessarily want to build her up in some of the Star Wars shows. They would rather just have her come out as a big surprise theatrically in a movie, in cinema, and to really just get it out there to everybody as fast as possible. That's how some of the executives feel. Other executives feel that it's better to build things up by including her in glorified cameos, such as what's already planned for Mando Season 4 and the second season of Ahsoka, as well as the reinstated version of Rangers of the New Republic. So, continuing on, it gets a little bit more involved, but we know that Jon and Dave are working every single day on this Star Wars movie. It's really Dave Filoni's film, but Jon Favreau's helping out, and it's going to basically be a mashup of everything Mandoverse-wise. We're talking about Din, Grogu, Luke, Ezra, Thrawn, Ahsoka, Era Syndulla, and all these fan-favorite characters coming together in, not necessarily in an Avengers style, but in its own way that's going to be unique, where it's all going to be mashed up into one movie. Now, it's beyond one movie. We'll get to that in just a second here, because this is where things begin to get even better, in my opinion. So, on top of that, Disney's approach, of course, is they want to use Cara Dune sparingly, as they don't want to overuse the character to lose her value. The Dave Filoni movie is already planned to be a near 3-hour movie, so that they can actually cram in tons of material from the Star Wars shows on Disney Plus in an effective, balanced, and in a way of using characters in moderation. Filoni's movie is set to be a starting point for a trilogy to create their own version of a sequel trilogy, and is pushing for Carano to be involved in all 3 movies. Bob Iger is also said to fully agree with this proposal by John and Dave. However, it will be a big time for, Disney to really establish this, and it will be at least years until fans see this movie to begin with. So they feel having Gina making glorified cameos in some shows beforehand will be the more effective route to build her up to the movies instead of having nothing beforehand. Now, the thing about this, alright, before I get to the next thing here, is that we know that there's a lot of fans that are divided when it comes to their opinion on Gina Carano. And look, hey, we're all human beings, right? We're all humans here, we all have our opinions, and that's fine. That's all welcome below in the comments, by the way. If you like her, you like her. If you hate her, you hate her. Nobody's gonna change people's minds. That's just the end of the story. But what Disney does know is that Lucasfilm did it wrong. The way that they let go of Gina Carano, it got bad press, it wasn't a good image for them. So I think it's easy to say that bringing Gina back, it's not genuine. It is most certainly a marketing move. It's to boost their image. It's to gain the likability from a lot of fans out there that have shifted their focus away from things. And so I don't believe it's genuine, but it's still something, right? It's still at least them doing something that nothing. And it's the best way to really kind of get those lost fans back into, of course, the interest of Star Wars, and to really kind of just realize that Disney will do anything that they can to make fans happy, even if it's not out of, being genuine. So the thing about this Dave Filoni movie, I don't know if you guys knew this, but Dave talked about this just 2 days ago, that this film is all about defining an era. Alright, it's all about creating something big. If you look at the originals, you think about, the whole struggle between the rebellion and the Empire. When you look at the prequels, you think about the rise of Palpatine and the fall of Anakin and the Clone Wars, right? Or the beginning of the Clone Wars. When you look at the sequels, you think about the First Order and Kylo Ren and basically Palpatine working behind the scenes. So basically what Dave Filoni wants to do is that he wants to establish something brand new. And what's great about this film is it's going to have a lot of elements of Heir to the Empire in there. So basically this age, this era, if you will, is going to really heavily mimic the stories from Heir to the Empire. We're talking about Thrawn, Dark Jedi. We're talking about Luke, Han, and Leia in the picture in some way, which we talked about just in the last video. There's a lot of things going into this that's going to really establish itself as something very recognizable to a lot of hardcore fans, and will also mark itself down as being iconic to newcomers and casual fans alike as well. So it's interesting to see where this is all going to lead, how it's really going to all pretty much materialized by John and Dave and other creators coming on board. We've heard, by the way, that Tony Gilroy wants to get involved as a co-writer for this movie, so that's good news too. But overall, I would like to hear what you all have to say about this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys next time.
From night to moon we hear them moans again.